Let's take a look at the 6'7" junior forward out of Ohio State, E.J. Liddell, a young man who shot 37% from three on just under 4 attempts this last season. You see a deep catch and shoot one here against Northwestern, 38% on catch and shoot threes last season. And if you buy the shooting or you want to show people the shooting, this Northwestern game is the game for you, especially early in the game. Here you see a handoff, pick and pop, where he was just over a point per possession on the season. If you don't buy the shooting or have some questions, which I think it's fair to have some, then the Nebraska game is the game film for you to watch. As you see here, just the mechanics don't look quite as fluid, and he comes up short and flat, and there were definitely plenty of those in this game. I'll show a mid-range one a little bit later. Speaking of the mid-range, he was able to make a lot of really tough mid-range jumpers. Not all off the bounce like that one against Duke with the step back. A lot of them out of the mid-post, which I'll talk about in a second. But it wasn't all good in the mid-range. You see him here dribble into one, not able to knock it down. And then the aforementioned one against Nebraska, just the catch and shoot variety, and again comes up short. I personally think the three-point shooting is going to be huge for him. I do think it has to be there because I have questions about the rest of his offensive game, which we'll look at now. And I just don't have a lot of confidence in his ability to get around the rim and finish around the rim. He did finish 48% on 194 attempts, but you see here, gets blocked by Mark Williams. Really good shot blocker, but I'm just not sure there's a huge bag and variety for him finishing around the rim. And then this against Northwestern, there was a clip right before it that looked very similar. It just ended with a make, a really, really tough mid-range make. But this is a straight isolation for him late in the game, and I just didn't like him not being able to go by the defender and then having to settle for that tough contested shot. Now, you may say that's not going to be his role, but that's why you may want to take him later in the draft because he's not going to have quite as much all-around game. And then the mid-post game, I think this really comes down to, do you think it translates to the NBA or not? 33% of those around the rim attempts came from this. Over a third of his play types came from this. And so I don't think it translates because a lot of it was this, just kind of bully you, turn over the right shoulder, jump up, and try to score. Now, obviously in college, he scored a lot of points, almost 20 a game, so it worked. I just don't know that it's going to work in the NBA against NBA defenders, and teams are going to run their offense through him in that situation. Now, I always like to be fair. It's not like there was no possessions of him getting downhill. So here against Northwestern, again, not able to get like all the way to the rim and beat his defender, but he is able to play through contact, put it off the glass, and finish, where he got to the free throw line 7 times a game, shot it at 77%. But the thing I think I want to see him most and what I think his role is going to be, again, that pick and pop stuff, be able to knock down shots, and then can he attack closeouts like he does against Michigan here? Plays through the contact. Again, would like to see a little bit more variety and finesse at the rim to score, but keeps his eyes on the basket and able to finish through contact on that one. And then can he add anything else offensively? Didn't see a lot of cutting, didn't see a lot of pick and roll stuff, but offensive rebounding, 2.3 offensive rebounds a game. Can that translate as he gets a big one there against Nebraska at the end of regulation? I talked about the mid-post game. That's where he spent a lot of time, and he showed really good passing when he did get double-teamed. You could tell he was used to playing in the double team. He attracts a triple team here, keeps his composure, stays under control, finds an open teammate, and able to make a pass to the weak side. Very good at the bullet pass. Sometimes I think he needs a little more finesse with it, but he is able to throw nice, hard skip passes, as you'll see again here. Makes a nice read, on-time, on-target pass to his teammate on the weak side. And then in transition, able to catch, see an open teammate, make the one more pass. So you see some good stuff there, but it wasn't all positive. 2.5 assists per game, 2.5 turnovers per game for E.J. Liddell as well, and I think he left some on the table in terms of assists. So here you do see that driving ability. Again, can he attack bigger players and get in and draw some defense here, but then doesn't see an open teammate in the corner. I don't think he's seeing a possible lob here. Maybe he doesn't trust his teammate for that, so maybe we give him a pass there, but ends up with, again, another contested shot. I know he gets fouled, he gets to the free throw line, but I don't think that just jump as high as you can over your right shoulder is going to translate. Even here in the mid-post, I talked about how well he was when he got double team. No double comes on this one. I just don't think he sees everything. So backdoor cut here from a teammate, doesn't see it. as he gets into the lane, doesn't see this pass here on the weak side, and again goes to just turning over his right shoulder, taking a tough contested shot that he's not able to make. And then in the role he's going to play, I don't think he's a guy that can have 2.5 turnovers a game. So multiple times he turns the ball over, just rotating and reversing the ball from one side of the floor to the other, and he's going to have to get better at that. I showed 2 clips here. There were even more in the film. So I think his offensive game really is that pick and pop, be a stretch guy that can knock down threes and then attack closeouts. I don't think he's going to spend as much time in the mid-post in the NBA as he did in college. On the defensive end, I think he can give you some versatility. So let's start with the post defense first. I just wanted to highlight an area where I think he does need to improve. At times, he gets to leaning on the offensive player, and then they're able to spin off of him. You see it there against Duke, and then you're going to see here against Northwestern, the same thing happens as he's able to spin off of him, get to the rim. But there were some really, really good reps. So here against Paolo Banchero, this is an area where Paolo is very, very dangerous. But E.J. Liddell does a great job holding up, not giving a lot of ground, contesting that shot, coming down with a rebound. And then an even better possession here, you see him holding Paolo off, forcing him out just a little bit, and then he's going to stay down, stay between him and the basket, and he's going to force a tough shot from Paolo that he actually times up perfect and gets a shot block, which we'll talk more about in the off-ball stuff. Here, the closeout, the footwork has to be better. Paolo attacks his top foot, but what I liked about EJ is he continued to play. So you see he continues to give effort here, actually gets back in front of Banchero and forces it to be a much tougher shot than what it could have been. And then here against Bryce McGowan's, a guy that's probably a first-round pick, does a great job in just true isolation staying in front. So I do think there's some switchability. Now what he's going to give up is, I don't think the change of direction is quite as good there. So you see he gives up a mid-range jumper there, not super contested. And then this clip in transition against Northwestern shows it even more. Offensive player gets him really going downhill. E.J. Liddell's not able to really stop, change direction, and get back and contest. So I do think if he gets switched out on guards, he may give up kind of those mid-range pull-ups a little bit more. I talked about the shot blocking, so let's go off-ball defense. One thing I think that just keep an eye on, I'm not saying it's a major concern, I'm not saying it's bad, but I do think it's worth keeping an eye on, is he seems to rotate a little bit too much to get the shot block. I don't think he should come here. His teammate stayed in front, his teammate's contesting the shot, he still comes over and jumps, which could leave an open offensive rebound on the weak side. Now his teammate does a good job rotating and getting a box out there, so the offensive rebound doesn't come, but I do think it's something to keep an eye on. Same thing here. He is the low man on the weak side, so it is his rotation, but I think his fellow big is going to be able to contest this shot. And so I don't necessarily think that he should be coming over to contest on this one. Now again, he should have a teammate rotating, but it's just something to keep an eye on with him. Does he over-rotate for blocks too much and leave his team having to rotate on the weak side too often? Now, with that said, maybe you live with it because of how good of a shot blocker he was. 2.5 blocks per game, does a great job with his timing. So chases this drive to the basket against Duke, able to get that one. Here, Kofi Coburn in the post, he's able to come over and again, times it up right to get the block on him. And then a couple similar clips here against Nebraska, and again, Bryce McGowan. So teammate gets hung up on the screen, he sees it, steps over, able to get a block there. And then on this one, again, teammate gets hung up on the screen. He's going to be able to step over in front and help keep from giving up a wide open layup to McGowan. So some good off-ball stuff there. And then I love these rotations. Again, you're talking about the role he's going to play. This is stuff you have to do. So the big here is going to have an opening to get an offensive rebound if there were a miss because his man's contesting the shot. E.J. Liddell does a great job coming over to rotate and getting the box out. And then on the very next possession, he does it again. So again, his fellow big steps up to contest. The offensive big has a free run to the lane for an offensive rebound, but EJ rotates over, not only gets the box out, but also gets the defensive rebound, which he got 5.6 per game last season.